Digital Journal. Arizona Senate seat. The primary is this evening. Dr. Ward, thank you so much for joining us. We're live on ABC News Digital and ABC News' Facebook page. Tell me about what you're seeing. You've been out at the polls today. What are you seeing from voters?
Well, I thank you for having me, Allie. It's been exciting. I think that people are really looking forward to voting today in this primary and potentially making history by retiring somebody who's been in Washington for almost 40 years and putting in a new, bold, fresh face with new ideas into Washington, D.C.
Dr. Ward, I have to ask you, you made some headlines with some of your comments about Senator McCain recently. You've made retiring Senator McCain a key part of your campaign, so that wasn't really anything new, but I think the line that got a lot of headlines was the life expectancy statement. So what do you make of all the attention that remark has been getting?
Well, I think that he turned 80 yesterday, and I did want to wish him a happy birthday, and I want to give him the present today, the gift of retirement. I think that the voters deserve to know. Back in 2008 when he was running for president, many of the mainstream media outlets were bringing up his age at that point. And so, now it's 8 years later. People need to consider who they send to Washington to be their voice, who they want on the national stage and who they want on the international stage.
And the McCain campaign responded to those criticisms by calling it desperate. What do you make of that?
Well, they actually said I must have been having too many chemtrails, which I think shows their desperation, because they didn't point out all of the great things that John McCain has done, because that simply is impossible, because he has not delivered many conservative things, if any. He's given us instead tax hikes, bailouts, massive new spending, amnesty, liberal judges. The list of things that he's brought to us and pushed down the throats of the Arizona voters is immense. And so that's why I think people are looking for a new voice.
Now, I want to fast forward to after polls close tonight, and I wanted to ask you about the possibility, if you lose, would you be willing to vote for Senator McCain in a general election?
I don't know if I'm quite there yet. I'll have to see, just like Paul Ryan and John McCain have said about our presidential nominee, or took them a little while, but to get to the point where they were actually behind Donald Trump. I, for one, am 100% behind Donald Trump. I think he's going to be our next president. I think he's going to need legislative partners to put forth excellent policy to do the things that he talked about on the campaign trail: secure the border, stop illegal immigration, put America first on trade, get the economy going again, and finally fix the Veterans Administration. All of those things are going to take excellent policy. I've been excellent at policy in Arizona, getting 19 bills signed into law in 2015 alone. Bills designed to shrink the size of government, lower taxes, lift regulations off the heads of small businesses, healthcare reform, welfare reform, and education reform. All common sense things that the people of Arizona have benefited from, and I want to take to Washington so that not only our state but our nation can benefit as well.
Now, I want to return to something you just said, which is you're not there yet. You mentioned that Paul Ryan took a while to get around to Donald Trump.
Yes.
You've mentioned a lot that McCain hasn't really embraced Donald Trump fully. But I want to ask you saying that you wouldn't vote for John McCain,
I wouldn't say I went that far.
Okay, but what my point is that Paul Ryan, folks like that, got a lot of criticism for not embracing Donald Trump earlier. So in the service of party unity, what do you make of that, saying that you're not there yet? Is it a problem if you're saying, if John McCain's a nominee, doesn't that hurt party unity to say that you wouldn't vote?
I think he's hurt party unity by attacking the future of the party in the relentless way that he has, with his lies, his scare tactics, and his immense amount of money. Saying that I'm against the military, ridiculous. My husband's in the military, he's been in for 32 years. Saying that I've somehow propelled ISIS to power, when actually he's kind of done that with his policies, his invade the world, invite the world policies that he's had on the foreign policy stage. All those things are kind of ridiculous. So if we're talking about party unity, I think John McCain, as a senior statesman, should have been the person who was fostering that to begin with.
But again, looking forward, there's been some commentary that you and your campaign, in criticizing John McCain for not embracing Donald Trump more, that you actually might be hurting him if he gets into the presidential election, or the general election, that it may damage him running in a competitive race against presumably Ann Kirkpatrick. What do you think of that?
The only person who's damaged John McCain and his strength in this state is John McCain. John McCain and his terrible voting record have damaged him far beyond anything that I could do in a year. 34 years in Washington have led to where John McCain is. And I can tell you that I am the one who can beat Ann Kirkpatrick. Polls show that I can beat her handily, over 50% for me. latest polls also show that it's neck and neck for me and John McCain. You know, that we are right there. He's at 37, I'm at 34 with a 3.5% margin of error and 23% undecided. So today is going to make a huge difference, which is why everybody needs to get out and vote.
Now, I want to turn really quick to the presidential race. Donald Trump is going to be here tomorrow speaking about immigration. There's been some talk that he hasn't really been as and the central tenet have been mass deportation. And
I don't know that that's been the central tenet of it. You know, I think it's going to be interesting tomorrow to see what his policy actually is, and then the media can actually talk about what it is rather than what they think it might be.
Well, let me ask you though, what to you does amnesty mean?
Amnesty means rewarding people who have broken into our country with the ability to have citizenship or benefits on the backs of the taxpayer.
So what you will not want to see from Donald Trump is a pathway to citizenship. Is that
no?
correct?
I don't think that there should be a pathway to citizenship for people who have come here and broken our laws willfully.
But if he were to soften his position on, say, focusing foremost on prosecuting illegal immigrants who are here and have broken laws.
They have broken a law by coming in illegally.
Sure,
Don't forget.
But committed
another
crime.
Another
Exactly.
crime.
Yes. Is that
I
something
don't know
that you would support?
Well, of course. I think we should get rid of the dangerous criminal element first. I think that we also have to look at visa overstayers, because when you look at the towers and what happened on 9/11, those were visa overstayers. There are people who come to our country through our wide open borders that have been created by John McCain and Hillary Clinton and want to do us harm. That's got to stop. That's why I look forward to seeing what Donald Trump has to say tomorrow, and I look forward to being a legislative partner with him in the United States Senate.
Do you plan to be there tomorrow with Donald Trump?
Well, I hope so. I hope I'm on the stage with him as our nominee.
Have you been talking to his campaign about doing that?
I talked to the Arizona GOP.
Okay, and what did they say? What do you
If
guys
you're
talk
the
about?
nominee, you're on the stage.
If you're the nominee.
Yes.
So if you're not the nominee, where are you
I'm
gonna be?
invited. I'm
Okay.
invited.
Yeah, great. And what are you going to be doing the rest of today? Polls are closing in a few hours.
Yes,
so-
going to a few more polls, making sure that everything's set up for tonight, because we're going to have a wonderful time. As I said, the Matt Ferris Country Band is going to be here tonight with us at the DoubleTree in Scottsdale. People are welcome to come on out, enjoy the night with us, watch the returns, and celebrate making history by retiring John McCain.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ward, for being with us today, and thanks to all of you for tuning in to abcnews.com.